Are you done?
No.
Fuck.
God, no. I'm just getting fucking started. Call me Damon, cause this angst train is just fucking firing up in the station. Woo, woo!
What up, and welcome to another episode of Brotherhood Without Manners, your favorite full spoiler reread podcast of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series.
Hot D edition.
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
Nice.
I know.
I'm Nate. The one with the hot D over here is Zach.
Don't ever say that to me again. I'm Zach. Welcome. I'm the one with the hot D. If you've joined us before, normally we're reading A Storm of Swords, but lately we've been enjoying the new content because the fandom's on fire with new television.
And the content's fucking great.
And the content is fire. That's all.
And blood.
And blood.
And blood.
Ooh,
yes.
Drawing it back. There's not much housekeeping at the top. We're still working on some stuff, blocking stuff out.
We can say thank you to our new patron. Chase. Thanks for patroning.
Chase, and for your wonderful condensed email of inductees. So thank you, Chase, and welcome to the Patreon.
I needed a new novel.
Enjoy that. Enjoy the sample chapters from Winds of Winter and some new stuff on the horizon, we promise. But let's get into Hot D.
Yeah,
House
so
of the Dragon.
This episode we focused on episode 3, House of the Dragon, second of his name.
Oh.
And shit, if it's not a banger.
It's a banger.
It's so good. The best one yet, in my opinion.
So we open with, I'm assuming, a Valyrian foot soldier who's...
Well, the Valyrian boat's on fire first.
Right, with the sigil burns.
Yeah, and that's
very
so
symbolic.
Cool. Super fucking cool.
But yeah, the Stepstones is a fucking shit show, and it's a great opening scene with the huge ship on fire, and they're looting, and yeah, there's a foot soldier of one of the Valyrian allies getting nailed by
being crucified by
dickhead
crab feeder
Drahar, there it is, it always escapes me. And he's basically talking mad shit and then sees Daemon flying hot and
my prince!
Right, and like I feel attacked because this guy is me. Like, I'm just beat down by life, and then I'm finally like, oh, sweet, someone's gonna help. Oh, no, okay.
Nah, just kidding. Yeah,
and yeah, he gets
so
crushed.
Good.
Crushed by the dragon landing.
It wasn't a surprise. I felt like it was gonna happen.
That's a metaphor, folks. If we didn't know, we're right off hot, starting with people being crushed under dragons' feet. I just don't know what that could possibly mean.
Yeah, so we get some sweet Caraxes footage here.
Yeah, it's dope. Him like trying to worm him out.
Yeah, and he's like just what is that? I don't even know how he's stomping, fucking
gross.
Just crushing his way through the beaches here, and it's just smoke and fire everywhere,
lighting shit up.
And he's got his
and they
long,
showed
like
the ferocity of like the flame because it straight up annihilates the guy to where it's just his boot left basically. Nice. And like it's so cool that it just like liquefies them basically. That's how fucking hot it is, and it's dope. And then we get the great shot of Drahar watching the devastation as the line of flame goes in front of him.
Calls him out.
In that cave, in that position is basically what we get him in for the duration, the entirety of this episode, which is really cool because that's just a symbology here of Daemon. Not because this is also where Daemon takes an arrow and in the breastplate, and it hurts, so it shows his vulnerability, and they retreat, and it's just such a good setup for the end of the episode. But
yeah, they get caught in a little bit of a trap there, and have all the archers.
But we go back to King's Landing
because there's
a
few years.
Feast going, and I think it's real interesting that the opening shot is on 2 dead pigs. One may want to potentially just call them boar. And it immediately, on our second watch, made me think of the boar that got Robert and how he wanted, people to feast it, to eat the fucking
This episode could basically be called Bobby B vibes.
Yeah, this is Bobby B vibes hard throughout this episode. And I'm doing it right now. Shout out at the top to my main fucking man, Paddy Constance, because I am all about Viserys.
He's got my lips. He's got your nose too, my lord. He's got my eyes also.
Facial expressions, how done he is with the Lannister twins is one of my favorite fucking things in existence.
So I'm the moron that only now, recently, like today, learned The Lannister twins are played by the same... Oh, God, cat attack.
Cat attack.
Oh,
Lamy,
boy.
get down.
Get out of here,
Damn
Lamy.
it.
Sorry, the cat
What the
just
fuck's a
traipsed
Lamy?
across the table. The Lannister twins are played by the same dude.
Yeah.
It's not actual twins.
Yeah.
It's just one guy.
Yeah.
And so him coming at you with those two different vibes is so much fun, knowing that it's the same guy and just seeing his spectrum of skills.
But yeah, Alicent is pregnant again, and 2 years have passed since the last episode we learned. So little baby Aegon is now 2, and he is very quickly delighting the realm. LOL.
So this is the Aegon that I'm sure they'll follow Fire and Blood, and he'll be called Aegon the Elder once we start getting further
well,
in.
100%.
So.
He's going to be losing an eye and all sorts of fun goodness.
Awesome.
So, yeah, this Aegon, this is probably the only time that this Aegon will
Does
be
Aegon
likable.
lose the eye, or does Aemond lose the eye?
Oh, it's Aemond, right. I think it's Aemond.
I think it's
yeah,
Aemond.
yeah.
Maybe we're wrong. Who knows? One of those two loses an eye.
You read Fire and Blood much more recently than I did. But, yeah, so 2 years have passed, and essentially... we get this great scene too with Otto and his brother.
Yeah.
Where his brother is leaning heavy on him, and he's like, about that succession, about that succession, about
it's
that
a great
succession.
day because 2
and
years.
It does so good to make, as we discussed when we were watching it, it makes Otto not this just Littlefinger villain, because we see now that he's getting leaned on by his family as well. He's getting leaned on by other Hightowers to make them royalty, that their house royalty by Alicent, her son, becoming king. And so it's a house power play. It's not just Otto. And I thought it was tiny because I missed it on the first. I didn't catch the brother exchange. I just thought it was some nobody.
Just some dude.
And it was just real interesting. So I really liked that little bit, kind of humanizing Otto a little bit. But Viserys wants to know where the fuck Rhaenyra is.
Where's Rhaenyra?
And, it's so great because he literally at one point becomes John fucking Travolta in the gif of looking around.
Oh, is she over there? She's nowhere.
And we find that Rhaenyra is out at the Godswood.
Now, I mentioned it on Twitter. I'm not going to pretend that I wasn't a fool and I didn't shout out in excitement thinking that the bard was
You
mushroom.
are convinced it was mushroom.
I was so excited.
And I was not as soon as I saw it, I was not grotesque enough.
Right, he's not
nearly.
And obviously Alicent refers to him as Samwell.
But, Rhaenyra just hit fucking repeat on the CD player.
Right, she's got her iPod on shuffle of one song.
Yeah, she's angsting out at the Godswood, and it's great because she's just reading, and Samwell the bard wants to stop, but she's like, nope, again, the same song
From the top.
And his little fingers hurt.
Yeah.
But we get Queen Alicent, and my God, the girl is owning this fucking role. But there's a little power exchange of dismissing the bard.
It's so cool because I really like the way the bard, when she walks in, the bard stands up, Your Grace, and Rhaenyra's like, yeah, I didn't tell you to stop. I didn't hit pause.
Right.
Start it again.
Yep. Start it over now. Because now I missed the best part. I gotta listen to the lead up again.
It can't just jump right in. You have to have the
And Alicent's like, no. Like, you can go, Samwell. And Rhaenyra's like, no, the princess orders you to stay. And that's when Alicent's like, the queen is telling you to leave the fucking Godswood right now. And of course he's gonna listen to the queen.
Has to.
And then they get into it a little bit where essentially Alicent's like, we're going on the hunt. It could be fun.
Your presence is requested.
Right. And Rhaenyra asks, did the king order? And Alicent's like, yeah, but we want you. And she's like, well, then of course, Your Grace.
It doesn't have to be that way.
It's so sad.
None of this has to be that way. And she, poor Alicent, you definitely...
She's trying.
Because we have to keep in mind that she also is a girl of 10 and 7. And isn't, maybe she's a little old, I forget what they did for the aging here, but she's about the same age as Rhaenyra.
Yeah, on the second watch, I was more in tune with that, where, she's been queen, man, and, pumping out kids, and she doesn't have, a bestie either now, and, it actually is really sad, and I like the way they're kind of portraying Alicent as, because she's one of the biggest advocates for Rhaenyra's claim in this episode.
And you'll see that she keeps defending Rhaenyra.
And so Rhaenyra's like, fine, if the king fucking orders it, let's go. And so we get the first the great shot of the carriage coming away from King's Landing, and
If you hear scary scratching, it's because Lamy the cat decided he needs to tear the wall apart if he's not on the episode.
Yeah, he's being crazy tonight, I guess. And so we get the great establishing shot, and the shots in this episode are fucking
gorgeous.
Phenomenal.
Absolutely
I will
gorgeous.
fight anyone who says that this episode isn't just a masterpiece of cinematography as well, because of the fucking shots, man. I can't. But then we get them all in the carriage. Yes, the family road trip. That's awkward as fuck. And I couldn't help but, like, there is such... I'm sure we've both seen it. The medieval fun time land with, like, Game of Thrones, the show. Like, that was just the whole vibes of, like, this whole trip to the little festival. Because, of course, Viserys is like, we're all gonna have a great time.
So jovial.
And then you're going to be, popping out a kid soon, too, anyway.
So the discussion basically turns towards Rhaenyra getting married and how she's expected, she's of age, and Zach almost died, so I don't know if that's because of a joke I didn't make or because you thought of a point.
Nope.
Oh, you just swallowed your drink wrong. Never mind, he's just a dipshit. So they turn
that one's because of a joke.
Oh, okay. I lost where I was at. Did. So Alicent makes a comment here that Aegon came out real easy. It's not that bad. Don't worry about it, Rhaenyra.
Your mom's a bitch for dying that way.
Fuck.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
And again,
it was like good intentions.
She was trying to be Rhaenyra's friend, where her dad's being
her dad. We'll be prego friends together.
It's not bad.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna be great.
The days are long, but once they're out, they're out.
Your mom died in childbirth because your dad forced her to have a kid that she didn't want to have. Oops.
And so that we get them pulling in, and it's just fucking phenomenal. The tents amongst the woods, this is the royal hunt that we deserve. And it's amazing. People are applauding because Prince Aegon and Otto's brother announces the prince as they step out.
And we get to meet during this time the Strongs are also in the little montage. We get to see, I think we see Jason Lannister. I love Jason. He cracks me up, dude. He I think is very much akin to Creighton Longbow. Mm-hmm. Just this pompous, full bravado. Shut the fuck up, Jason. I love it. It's great. But yeah, we get to meet C. We don't really meet them yet. Harwin and the Clubfoot.
Right.
So that's really cool as well. But yeah, the stepping off of the Targaryens out of the carriage and the High Towers greeting them, and then you had pointed out because Otto comes walking out of his tent and just starts slow clapping he's like, I'm a part of this, look at me contributing to
it's
the
literally
society.
One of my D&D villains. It's 100% so the bad guy clap of yes, I must be seen clapping as the hand and supporting this, but it's my fucking grandson that's about to be king, suck it, bitches. And it's
wonderful. Rhaenyra says, I'm gonna just stay in the car for a little while.
Yeah, she doesn't want to get out of the car. She's got her headphones in. She's good. And then she does eventually enter, and we get this great tent shot where they're inside this pavilion, and it reminds me of the brothel scenes from the original series with Littlefinger's brothel.
Yeah, sure.
These intimate cloth sort of covered.
A lot of the Dothraki scenes as well, which is
But I fucking love the vibe. It's so great. Just there's so much to look at.
Right, the girls are over girling out.
Yeah, they're chit-chatting.
They're just that looks like a good time. The men are over war talking and mansplaining things to each other, so that's
Yeah,
cool.
There's some fun little Fire and Blood bits that are dropped about, Lady Joanna, and then they get onto the subject of claim, of course, and Rhaenyra, or the Stepstones, and Rhaenyra basically shits all over. I think it's Lady Merryweather. And she's like, how would you have us aid by eating more fucking cake?
Before we got in there, Clubfoot Strong there goes wandering in and asks to join the ladies.
Right.
And that's going to be important because I want to say he holds Master of Whispers eventually. He's on one of the councils.
I can't confirm that.
I can't either right now, which is sad because I did just read the book, but we'll look into it.
So after the girly talk, Rhaenyra goes outside and confronts. She
goes talked to. Right, no, that's after this, right?
Yeah, because she's confronted by the long-haired Lannister, Jason.
Oh, you met my brother. I mean, he's all right, but he's a little bit
This scene, dude.
dry.
Rhaenyra wants none of it, clearly.
So I said that he's a fuckboy. He's the
100%.
He comes up behind her like he's the fuckboy teaching the girl how to play pool, and he's like, imagine looking out from my castle.
Standing on the walls of Casterly Rock and looking across the sunset sea. Yeah, dude.
It starts talking about how they're building dragon pits as we speak, and she's like,
why do you need dragon pits?
What would you need a dragon pit for? Well, for when you're my wife and I have your dragons.
Yeah, nah. So she fucks off. She hands him the wine back, and she's like, okay, see ya. And goes to find her father, and is like, so you're just trying to fucking shovel me off, and... Viserys absolutely loses his cool here and goes a little ballistic, yelling and saying that she needs to marry and no one's above tradition. And Otto steps in because he realizes that Viserys
Excuse me, Your Grace,
making a fool of himself because everyone is watching.
He did play the part of the hand fairly well there by interrupting at a good time that it needed to be cut off so that they could tone it down.
And by saying, there's been a sighting of a white hair. Ooh, or a white heart.
He finishes yelling at Rhaenyra beforehand, before he...
Oh, right.
He's like, you'll marry him, you'll do it what I say.
You will.
So what's up, bruh? And then, tells him, there's been a white heart.
A white heart, which is a great omen on Prince Aemon's.
On a name day.
So Rhaenyra's like, fuck this noise, runs out, gets on a horse, Arya Stark style, and just dips the fuck out. Of course, Kristen notices, follows, and then we get more great shots of the fucking woods, and I love the woods.
I like that, similar to episode 1 where we got a lot of Dany comparisons. She's riding out on a silver horse out of this camp. And Kristen and... Because, again, it's 3 years later,
right, so
they've had that time to grow more as a group of friends, because he's been protecting her, and I'm so excited for Crispy's turn to evil, man.
Yeah, he ends up catching her, and they're beside this lake, which I love we were talking about.
Yeah, let's talk about the
widening
Kingswood.
of the Kingswood and actually making it the size and the... Just
the scale it needs to be, because what we got from the Kingswood, I mean, it's not to say that it was ever told that
really
it was small, but we
anything.
didn't see any of it. We didn't know that it was large enough to hold a whole bandit brotherhood in its and
they downplayed even Robert's hunt because it was him and the Kingsguard and everything. Like, it was a much smaller ordeal in the original series, and so this is nice to see. And the Kings, I love the shots of the Kingswood, but they rein up and they're discussing, and she says that my father's trying to shove me off on Jason Lannister, and Kristen has the great line, you want me to kill him? Which is just
so good.
So
adorable.
It's fucking
their friendship is adorable
terrifying.
right here.
And then we cut back to the party.
Jason!
And Viserys is getting drunk.
Your Grace!
Which, again, is sort of the Bobby B vibes of him just chilling up in this big chair with a fucking goblet. And Jason Lannister.
With this ornamental spear that was made for the kill, he hopes. I wanted to present this to you, and let me tell you what an honor it would be to bring your princess to my castle, where she won't feel as bad about her lowering in station.
Yeah.
Viserys is like, excuse me?
Yeah, my boy Viserys, man. Because the whole episode, the whole point is that he's been doubting since Aegon's been born whether or not this was the right decision based on the prophecy he had. Not really anything else. He's tripping out about the prophecy. Viserys is a prophecy guy.
So he had a vision himself, for those who are...
He's a dreamer.
He saw his son,
but
Aegon,
he's not the only
being
one.
crowned king. And then that's what led him to forcing Emma to have more and more children, even after all her stillbirths. Right. And then he thought he was just an idiot. And so that's why he named Rhaenyra his heir. Never did he think that he would end up having another son. And now he's realizing, oh shit, how is the kid going to be crowned king if I've named her and what?
So he gets pissed here at Jason for suggesting it and mentions, treason and rebellion and that Jason is supposed to report it. And Jason's like, no, that's not
tripping
happening.
over his feet at this point. He doesn't know what the fuck to do about it.
Viserys is like, I didn't name her on a whim. Like, this is the way it is. And so you better start fucking getting in line. And then thanks him for the gift. And Jason fucks off. And then we get this slow, because Otto comes up and he's like, hey, what up, Your Grace? And they discuss nothing. And then Otto's like, the real reason I'm here, though. So, Rhaenyra.
Right.
Marriage. And eventually Otto proposes one of the better ideas.
I mean, it's Otto being a piece of shit. In the history of Targaryens, it would make sense, because they do. And brother to sister, cousin, things like that. And so he suggests Rhaenyra and Aegon marry. Rhaenyra would never hear of it at this point, because she'd be fucking livid about that shit, too. And that's how Viserys takes it. And he tells him, like, we're fucking done with this. Now. End it, Otto. And Otto's like, my bad, we're done. Peace. Yeah. Knee ups and outs.
So we get this great pull-out as Viserys steadily gets drunker.
Yeah, you said that he's disassociating up there. And just seeing the time-lapsing around him while he's just getting shitty.
Yeah, he doesn't really... It's that, the crowd around him goes to a dull roar, and it's just really interesting to see him struggling with it.
And Lionel.
And then Lionel, right? Lionel's the final conversation, and Lionel tells him true, because even Viserys is like, let me guess. Rhaenyra should marry your son, and he's like, you honor me, but no, I'm gonna say the Valyrians.
Just like 3 years ago when I told you, Valyrians is a Laenor. Match. This is the one that she ends up actually going through with, is marrying Laenor, who is gay, and he is the badass that we'll talk about a little later on in the episode.
On sea smoke.
And he's all right. Thanks, I appreciate your counsel, and I think that Lionel's one of his only actual
Lionel, he gives him like a very solemn pat on the shoulder as he walks by, where even Lionel can clearly see that like Viserys is dealing with some shit, because he like pulls a real bro move and reminds him that even Jaehaerys' kids were like fucking
even
rampant.
During the long good reign of good King Jaehaerys and good Queen Alicent. Yeah, I don't know why I questioned myself on that one, but that even he drove himself nuts over thinking about his kids. And he, threw a jab at the girls and said especially the girls drove him particularly crazy. But
so then we're back in the Kingswood with Sir Criston and Rhaenyra, and Rhaenyra is asking whether or not he thinks anyone would ever accept her reign. And
he gives her some advice, best he can, until the horses start nickering.
Right.
And
he gets Bobby Bead, but he has armor.
I mentioned during the episode he had to get away from the fire because he's already crispy enough.
Fucking Christ.
And Zach loved it.
You're a dumb fuck.
But yeah, he gets fucking yeeted across this clearing by the boar, who then charges straight to the princess and starts trying to maul her. But she fights him off with her bare hands, laying on, until Criston comes running up.
Almost takes out her eye.
Yeah.
He dub there, Criston. And then, Rhaenyra loses her absolute gourd and starts stabbing the shit out of it, which is
the girl needed to get out some aggression.
A cathartic release, for sure.
Good for you.
Then we get one of my favorite scenes of the episode, which is Viserys standing in front of an enormous fucking bonfire, and Alicent comes up.
Alicent, I forget her name off the top of my head right now.
Actress?
Yeah,
I don't recall.
She fucking kills it this episode.
Yeah, Viserys is obviously drunk and stewing, and she asks him what's wrong, and he tells her of having the dream. Most of my family are dragon riders. Not all of them were dreamers, and that's a real fun fucking line to throw in there. And he, confesses that he had a dream of his son Aegon coming out with the Conqueror's crown, and then we know that would also allude probably to the Song of Ice and Fire prophecy that he knows as a Targaryen. And he always thought that was him, and that's every Targaryen that's done dumb shit, like gorged on grief at Summerhall. And it's that I'm the one. It's me. It's my line. It's my blood. And so he thought he fell victim to that trap. And then named Rhaenyra because, fuck it, the line's got to continue and let's do it. And then all of a sudden, here's this little baby boy, and he asks her, "What if I was wrong?" And it's just that's the crux of Viserys.
She kind of reassures him though in that moment as well, like, "No, you're good. Don't worry about it." And so it's. Again,
I think a little bit of her, she's thinking he's a little wine drunk, and
absolutely.
like, all right, you're great.
Whatever I can do to get you to settle, but again, I just think it's showing that Alicent, regardless of what comes when the greens and the blacks make their split, she's not a vengeful girl from the beginning. She wasn't this hateful, vicious, mean person or anything like that. She was a sweet friend to Rhaenyra who got caught up in politics and was forced into situations she didn't want to be in, and then now she's going to make the best of it by killing everybody.
So a stag is eventually found, and Viserys approaches, and upon approaching, discovers that it's not the white
It's
part.
a shit brown one.
It's still a noble stag, but it's a brown stag, and it's ridiculous. This hunting is an absolute joke, where it's men doing it for you, and then tying this thing up, basically, and holding it. He walks up, and of course,
handed his
Jason
little
gives him the
golden spear
for the kill. And he goes up, and then the guy's pointing, "Right here, Your Grace."
and he still misses it.
And of course, he botches his first attempt like he always does. It's Viserys. Like he can't get it right first, and then has to stab it again, and the stag dies. And symbology, hopes and dreams dying, all that.
And then they all applaud him. "Well done, Your Grace. You stabbed that helpless animal very good."
Very, very well.
Once. I mean, the first one wasn't that great, but yeah, and just showing what a mockery these hunts are for the royal line.
Then we get Rhaenyra riding back into camp, dragging the dead
boar.
But
we get Rhaenyra up on the fucking cliffside.
Oh, right, that's right.
And
they're returning to
getting
camp.
ready to
return
to camp.
Yeah, they're watching the camp.
And then they get approached by the actual White Hart.
Hey.
Now, a White Hart is very symbolic of royalty, of divine days, so it showing up to her is more of a, you're kind of the right one. You were the right. You're royal.
The chosen.
You're the actual heir. You should be the one that. And Crispy gets ready to go and take it out with his sword, and Rhaenyra calls him off. She's like, no, let it.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's a pretty bold move of the showrunners to actually paint Rhaenyra as a more chosen
by the gods
over anyone,
which I think is important for especially Viserys, who clearly takes a lot of stock in the visions, prophecies, omens,
signs,
images. So
right.
if she were to have killed it, or was to able to prove in any way that it appeared before her and Christy, then I think that it would have gone a long way to doing what Otto doesn't want to happen and give her more claim.
Yeah, but her dad took her iPhone, bro. So she couldn't snap a selfie.
No Snapchat.
So, right, the bloody, awesome-looking Rhaenyra drags this boar behind her back into camp, and the song that's playing here just absolutely ruffles my giblies in the best of ways.
We get to see Harwin Strong start out just kind of in amazement, and then he gets this almost animalistic, I think me and you gonna ravage each other in bed one day look on his face. And I'm pretty sure he's unfeathering a chicken in his hand. So he's sitting there staring at her with this gross look on his face of let's fuck while choking a chicken.
Yeah, you're on it this episode, man.
I mean, there's a lot of little things I didn't put them in the show.
We're back in King's Landing, and there's a screaming fucking child, take it. And so little screaming Aegon's taken out to give Alicent some time, and here comes fucking Daddy Dearest, who, of course, is here to try to coerce her into coercing Viserys into naming Aegon heir. We got through it. We're there in the end. And so she's essentially, this is where she kind of starts making it known that Rhaenyra would make a good queen. Like, and what? I'm going to raise my son to steal his sister's birthright? Like, nah. And, of course, the patriarchy will rule Because Otto's
he
like,
gets
it's
very,
Aegon that's getting his
very
birthright
Tywin
stolen.
here.
And the gods and men declare the law.
You are my daughter.
Women suck. And then we're
down to the Stepstones.
Down to the warfront.
Where we get a little war council.
Well, we get the shot, the wide shot
of the boats
two
passing
different
through
like islands.
Yeah.
And fuck
so
me.
the Stepstones are like an what's the word I'm looking for? The archipelagos, where it's like a cluster of islands down there, and at least in the book, there's a couple where that are larger than others, where there's actual like a town or two here and there. Not even a town, more like a little village set up by like Drahar. So I really like seeing this visual where it's like you can see that they're set up on opposite big islands with these little rocky things in the middle, and we just see these catapults launching these fucking flaming balls at the boats.
Ships and Daemon on his dragon over there fucking shit up, and yeah, they're lobbing some shit back, and then we see the collection of men, and we zoom in on Corlys and his family. Laenor and his other brother there.
Yeah, his brother, but I forget his brother's name right now.
Vaynor?
Is it Vaynor?
Valor?
Something
like that. But, they're basically trying to figure out what the fuck to do. They have a bold plan, but it basically requires one idiot to run in and...
Did we mention the letter that was in... that Alicent read that was from...
Oh, no, we did not.
That was from...
Yeah, right. That scene first.
So Corlys sent the letter... Corlys' brother had sent the letter to the king requesting aid because they're fucking losing. And Alicent talked him into it by finally saying...
scene after the hunt, finally. Viserys is back, wine
right,
drunk,
because we mentioned it was after her conversation with Otto. It goes into the conversation with the king and Alicent.
Right.
Where she... mentions you expect her to bring up Rhaenyra and the claim going to Aegon, but instead it turns to, why aren't you sending aid to your brother? And Viserys worries that it's going to be because it makes him look weak and this and that, which is shit that Otto had said to him. And really that was just them hoping that Otto or that Daemon and Corlys gets themselves killed down there, so that way they don't have to worry about them anymore. And instead Rhaenyra talks him in, not Rhaenyra, Alicent talks the king into sending the help. She says, let me ask you one question then. Is it better for the Seven Kingdoms for the crab feeder to live or for him to be vanquished? And then we get the cut into that sick ass scene.
Plus Viserys, because it's when he's talking to Rhaenyra that he first hands off some paper saying,
he calls her into the king.
Send this immediately to put this in Prince Daemon's hand, and then Rhaenyra comes and enters at his call, and he essentially breaks it down and says, because she goes off saying, you're trying to marry me off, and like you said, people are coming to scavenge on my bones because everyone knows you're going to name Aegon as your heir. Everybody fucking knows it. Lord Jason knows it, all of them. And he says, you misjudged me. Like, I have no intent of doing that. I want you wed because I want you happy, and, yada, 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 yada. But he essentially is going to let her choose and find a match for herself. One that she likes, one that she...
And he doubles down that he's not unnaming her as his heir.
Yeah, it's actually a really well done, well acted moment between these two, and it's a nice little... to set things off for where we're going. And then, now we're back at this episode.
Back to this episode.
All the fun stuff. And, there's some talk of dissension. Clearly, Daemon is being Daemon, and people aren't fucking happy about it.
Corlys' brother is not pleased. He says, if Daemon's own troops don't listen to him, why the fuck should we? And
valid.
Then Corlys is like, yo, don't you be speaking of mutiny in my fucking... We don't do with that. And then Corexes comes in.
Yeah, Daemon lands, struts over to the War Council, and then just fucking stares at everybody for like a good solid 2 minutes just cuz. And then, thank God, this message comes, because I don't think he would have stopped staring at them.
I think they would have preferred him staring at them, though, because he reads that Aegon's going to send help. Viserys is going to send help. And troops and ships... Daemon doesn't like that. He's been here 3 years losing a war, and now they decide to send help, so he's pretty not okay with it.
Yeah.
So he shows that by smashing the messenger's face in with the helmet.
Shit happens.
Yeah, sure. Don't shoot the messenger.
And apparently that's also the green light for Daemon, because that means all systems go.
So they were mentioning beforehand that they had a plan, but it would require bait.
Right, that's what I said. Some crazy motherfucker to run in, and who would do that? And one of them actually does name Daemon, but that's when he's like, if King's Landing won't help, why should we? Right. And so, yeah, all systems go.
So Daemon then goes as petty as he possibly can.
I really like the way they do it, because we get him rowing, and the music starts kicking in, which the soundtrack this episode was fucking insane. And we get the voiceover of Viserys' letter, essentially, of him saying, I don't want to see you lose in your venture, and I will pray to the gods nightly. And we get these great cuts of just Daemon just rowing, in the intensity of his eye of the message pissed him off. And that's what's so great, is the message is all good news. It's all, I do care about you, and I do want to help you, but Daemon is fucking Daemon, and he's being angsty. And
so in an attempt to be as petty as fuck, he goes and baits himself, does a false truce by tearing some flag stuff up while he's walking up the beach, posts up with his sword out, and lures all the crab feeders' men out. And instead of just accepting his brother's help, that's on its way, he'll be there soon, he decides to take on the army single-handedly.
Yeah, why not?
And so he jabs his dagger into the guy that takes his sword and snatches the Dark Sister back up and just makes a break for it.
Yeah, it's a really cool sequence of Daemon running and fighting and staggering and tripping and hiding and ducking and dodging arrows, and eventually they all do emerge. It's great because we got Crab Feeder just kind of standing there all gross, one, looking for the dragon, and two, directing the troops just with head nods.
I think that was such a great decision to whoever, whether it was the actor, the directors, whoever decided to have him moving the way he did and directing his troops with those twitches of his head and shit. It just made him, for a character that didn't say a single word.
Yeah, he's gross.
This gross, cool. Imposing mini boss.
Yeah, right. And Daemon notices, because eventually, of course, the cavalry doesn't arrive. The dragon comes and fucks up.
Gray smoke comes fucking.
Sea smoke.
Did I say
gray
smoke? Sea smoke.
Sea smoke.
Fucking whatever. And he's got a little badass beard.
Laenor's having the time of his life on the dragon, and it's fucking great. And then, Corlys is down there absolutely fucking shit
dude,
up.
And that's... I know that there is a big axe, Valyrian steel axe in the world.
Yep.
It doesn't belong to House Valerian in the books, but I wonder if maybe he didn't acquire it, because I love him running around with that long... I think it's kind of a halberd, because it's that long fucking axe on a stick, but he looks like a badass.
Yeah, he's fucking shit up.
Toussaint is killing it.
And Daemon chases after Crab Feeder into a cave. The battle continues and goes well, and then eventually we get the shot of Daemon dragging Crab Feeder's half torso out and sort of laying it there as Corlys and the rest of the men take notice of him, and Daemon is an angsty, bloody mess. And that's the end of the episode, which is just a great shot to end on, as Daemon is clearly
dragging this corpse across
and clearly fucked up. It was a hard-won fight. Yeah. So it was. I liked it. I'm okay with not seeing the fight between him and Crab Feeder. I think it was a good way.
I think that what he did on the beach to get to Crab Feeder
was enough.
That's where we see him proving himself.
We'll get plenty more fights in this series.
Exactly.
So I'm not too stressed about it. But it was a good episode. It was a great episode.
So any final thoughts before we go jump into our small council?
Daemon is fantastically petty, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. All right. So then we'll see you over there for some inductees. The following is a paid sponsorship. Support for Brotherhood Without Manners is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped recently launched the Ultimate Men's Hygiene Bundle, the Performance Package. Join over 5 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with code NOMANNERS at manscaped.com.
The Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived, and oh man is it a game changer. Inside the package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. I just got my package, and let me tell you, it is all amazing stuff. The Lawnmower 4.0 is the trimmer of the future. It cuts, but only hair. It doesn't have any issues with making me worry that I'm going to have to put some Band-Aids all down on my balls. So, let me tell you, it's worth it. Give it a try. Head over to manscaped.com and use code NOMANNERS for 20% off your purchase.
Welcome back. We are in the small council.
You are being counseled at this very moment.
Cool. Not by you. You don't give any kind of counseling. It's not good for you, man. Do you have an inductee?
For this one?
Second of his name.
Yeah, Viserys.
Viserys.
And more so Patty. Constantine?
Considine?
Something like that.
Considine?
But Patty is fucking killing it. And Viserys is just one of the, I think, best portrayed Game of Thrones characters probably in both series yet so far. And, like, I'm hoping that continues till his end.
He's just a doofus.
But
man.
like he's a doofus. But he's a good guy, or he's trying to be. He's trying to be to an extent, and it's real fun to watch. So yeah, I'm for King Viserys this time.
Nice. I think. It's a toss up. I got a few different ones that I wanted to go with. I'm gonna go with Rhaenyra for this one. Because of the boar kill scene, which I really liked. As soon as she like flipped up onto it and started stabbing it in her face, like the emotions that started coming out, you could see her almost crying with rage while she's like, this fucking boar tried to kill me, my fucking dad tried to marry me off, Crispin Cole's over there getting yeeted, and he didn't even fucking help till the end when I could already lost an eye.
Right, and I almost put my fucking eye out.
And so... For that moment alone, on top of her walk through the camp after...
Plus she looks
like,
sick with blood in her
dude,
hair.
and then I mentioned it during the episode. She had a badass like leather tunic on.
Yeah,
that
the
was just
armor,
super cool.
The knight,
and
the
King's Guard
and her,
cool.
her and Kristen Cole looked great in their outfits.
Rhaenyra just had so many fun one-liners in this, and her scene in the Godswood with the bard, just being the angsty teenager, man. And rightfully so. Like she's got some shit going on, but it's fun to see the Realm's delight as the Realm's teenage angstland.
One of her best lines was to Kristen Cole when he said, lots of people would give lots of things to be in your position, and she said that's because they've never been in my position, and it was just one of her Millie Alcock's best delivered lines, I thought,
and most accurate.
Well, right, like just because of what she conveyed in just that one line of like. I have no power. And then Kristen Cole does actually give kind of a good clapback where he says, you once had the power to write my name into the White Book. And so that's not nothing.
Again, awesome. Another good line, which it's fun to see these moments that were hinted at by Mushroom and by the Meisters and in the book, but we didn't actually get to see where they were friends before Crispin Cole goes and stabs everybody in the fucking back, literally, including Beesbury, dude. Poor Lyman.
Yeah, some throats are going to get cut, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, so that's my inductee. That's Zach's inductee. If you would like to send us your inductee, and we can read that on air for you, you can send us an email at withoutmannersbrotherhood@gmail.com, or you can send us a message on the Twitter. I'm there at mannerswithout. Zach is on the Twitter at carstark92. We have a Facebook, facebook.com/brotherhoodpodcast, and our Patreon. Do you know what the Patreon is, dude?
Mm-mm.
No, I have it written down right here. Mm-hmm. Patreon.com/withoutmanners, where you can get our sample chapter rereads. We're going to be doing some other coverage up there, some topography, not actual topography, topical statements about what we're doing. We're probably going to be talking about our current books that we're reading outside of the A Song of Ice and Fire world, things like that. So if you'd like to join us over there, we always appreciate the help and support. What else we got in there? Anything else?
If you want to go to Ice and Fire Con,
Right.
You can do that. Go to we have a code that we will get $5 off
of your tickets. Yeah.
Of your tickets. So go to iceandfirecom.com/store. Hit register now and enter the code No Manners for $5 off your tickets. And unfortunately, we're not able to go, but we want to help you go. So do that because it'll be a great time this year.
Do it. Next episode, we will be talking about.
Do we know the title? What is the title of the next
episode?
I
just saw it. King of the Narrow Sea.
Oh,
and so it's going to be Daemon coming back.
Rogue Prince,
and he's got
King
his nice little crown, his little fucking crown. Love it. So send us some inductees for that. We'll read them out. And we're getting the book stuff lined up for the Red Wedding. So if you've been waiting for those, we appreciate your patience.
Yeah, we're trying to hold off on hurting ourselves. So, bear with us here. But not really. Blocking and timing, because we're busy guys. Nate's got kids and stuff.
Yeah, and a cat that won't leave us the fuck alone. But Lami's alright. So I think that covers it for Second of His Name. We'll catch you on the next one.
Valida Harris.
Peace.